We missed in Ferguson schools that had been on probation for 15 years. 15 years, where a state has an accounting system of a basically accreditation of 140 points, and Ferguson public schools were getting 10 points a year. And we have allowed that to happen for 15 years. We have allowed an entire generation of students to go through from kindergarten to graduation with a school in a school system that we know doesn't work. Kindling. We have a police force that didn't see that its role was to protect and serve, but saw African Americans as a revenue generating source that could provide 25% of the city's budget. Kindling. And what all of this kindling does, and as I started wrestling with white rage, I began to understand that what we're really looking at are the policies. As a nation, we are so drawn to the spectacular. We are so drawn to what we can see that we miss those tectonic plates that are actually moving. White rage moves subtly, almost imperceptibly, corrosively, through the courts, legislatures, government bureaucracies, through the White House, through Congress, and it wreaks havoc subtly, imperceptibly, so that it's hard to discern what is the source of what you're seeing. And so I set out to make white rage visible. Because the first thing you got to do is you got to be able to see this thing. The trigger for white rage is black advancement. It is not the mere presence of black people that is the catalyst for white rage, but it is blackness with ambition, blackness with drive, with purpose, with aspirations, with demands for full and equal citizenship. It is blackness that refuses to accept subjugation, blackness that refuses to give up. And through a formidable array of policy assaults and legal maneuvering, white rage consistently punishes black resilience and black resolve. How else can we reasonably explain why government after government fought so hard to keep black children from getting an education? We saw it after the Civil War. We saw it all the way through the Brown decision. We see it now. Why is it so difficult to educate black children? Why do we have this even when, at least since 1957 and Sputnik, when the U.S. said, oh, we have a national security crisis, we must educate as many of our citizens as we can to be able to effectively wage the Cold War. But Brown was not going to get implemented. So even in the face of a national security crisis, even in the face when we say this is what our nation needs, white rage says, I don't think so. Or why would this nation design a war on drugs that incarcerates most those who sell and do drugs the least? Why? And why particularly after the triumphs and the successes of the civil rights movement, with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965?